and welcome back to another episode of the Change Officer podcast special series here at STEP Conference, and this time with me, Jeremy, the founder of Yellow Door Energy.
Hi, great to be here.
Thank you for coming and taking the time. I know it's been a long day. We are at the very end, so we're going to put last, items of our power to pull this off. But the topic is exciting, more relevant than ever. What you are doing is phenomenal. This whole space of renewable energy is most likely the next big thing, if it's not already. So I wanted to kind of chat about the industry and some of your predictions of what is going to happen in the near future. But before we jump into all of that, what was your, when it was 2016, right, when you started Yellow Door Energy?
July 15th, yeah.
July 15th, okay, you know the day, so it's
July 2015, July 2015.
What was the time? But what was the driving or the motive to say, okay, it's time, I'm starting my company, I'm going for it?
I think what motivated me to start the business and the opportunity to see today are a little different, right? Over time, things diverge, things change, things evolve. But in 2015, the motivation was that I'd been in energy, I'd been in clean tech for years, and it was dominated by these large incumbent utilities. They were dinosaurs. They were moving so slowly, and the opportunity in 2015 was to leapfrog those utilities and provide energy directly to businesses. Forget the transmission lines, the distribution lines, all those things that we see when we're driving along highways. Go to the business, put the energy generation there on site, do it clean, and do it at a lower cost than what the businesses could get from the utilities. That was the initial impetus, and that's still true today. In fact, it's truer than ever. The costs we can sell power to businesses from their own rooftops continues to come down. The quantity of energy we can produce from that same rooftop continues to go up. So year over year, that initial thesis is getting better. I think the exciting part is what is the next phase of that, and what does it mean for everyone around STEP today and around the world, is that the cost of energy is going to go from 30 years ago at 10 to 15 cents a kilowatt hour down to near zero within our lifetime. And what will that mean for us, right? What would free energy mean to our daily lives? What would being able to decouple from that utility that you have to pay every month mean to your business, to your bottom line? If a typical business spends about 20% of its overhead on energy, what if you could just wipe that off? What would that mean to the productivity, the profitability of a business?
Wow. Okay, you went straight into the topic that I wanted to discuss, and that's amazing, which is a good promise for the rest of the episode. Let's just spend a little bit of time. Like most of the episodes so far that we recorded had a flavor of crypto, metaverse, and NFTs. All right. Not sure if we can put that in our episode, but there is something that is maybe even of a bigger importance, which is sustainability, topics of global warming and all of that stuff. Now, we are living in the region that has been relying on everything other than clean energy for a decent period of time. Bringing in these new technologies and renewable energy, etc. What does this mean for the region, and what kind of change can we anticipate? And is this a good thing, or maybe a bad thing for the region?
That's interesting. When I try to conceptualize the energy transition within the Middle East, or let's say the Gulf, I think there's a couple things that come to mind. The first is absolutely the Gulf has benefited from a very low cost of energy, free, comes out of the ground, a huge economic wealth created by that energy when they sell it internationally, and how is that going to change as we see this inevitable energy transition? I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is that the cost of energy generation from solar actually is cheaper here than it is in Canada, where I'm from. Most other parts of the world, because the solar radiation is also better here. So this region is not only blessed with carbon resources, also blessed with solar resources. And so one of the ways that we're seeing that impacting the region is people looking at, hey, can I produce hydrogen here with my really low-cost solar resource and ship that internationally? And so can that hydrogen generation be something that supplants the carbon that comes in? Or alternatively, can I produce products here that are energy intensive, right? Can, steel, aluminum, or to your other podcast you just cited, can I run data centers here that are going to drive those in a way that is cost effective and service other parts of the world with those data centers? Because we know that all those the future of metaverse is going to require a lot of energy.
Absolutely. This kind of opens up a completely new, fresh perspective for many people who are living in this region. And there is one notorious question that everyone asks themselves, like, am I staying or am I leaving, or what's really going to happen, or is this just a fuzz, or how long Dubai and UAE in the region will survive just pumping in money that they are making on selling fuel. But this perspective is giving you such a new way of looking at things, because this whole region can actually become a hub for many industries that were not developed so far, like manufacturing. And there was a very interesting conversation that I had recently about manufacturing and a couple of different ways how you can export carbon neutrality or carbon negative products, right? And then what you guys are doing, helping actually companies and organizations manufacture based on the energy they're producing for themselves. That's really like putting such a completely different perspective on this region.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the big exports from the region industrially is aluminum.
Yeah.
Right? You've got Dubai here, you've got Elba in Bahrain, I'm sure many others. Europe has recently clamped down on the import of aluminum that isn't manufactured in a green mechanism. Well, now they can. Right? They can meet that, and they can actually reduce their costs. It's not a one day to the next transition, but my company can go in and put in solar, and we can make 30%, 50% of their demand from clean energy, and that can make aluminum exported from Dubai more competitive than aluminum that might come from South Africa. So there is more opportunities here now because of clean energy than there were before.
No, absolutely. So if we talk about the overarching theme of the change officer, right, which is answering on that question, what is the next change ahead? We are living through the change at the moment. But if you had to look not too distant in the future, a couple of years in the future, what do you think will be the next big change that will happen and open up some enormous new opportunities?
Look, I think...
And you're an entrepreneur, so you have that, like, you're always thinking about, okay, what's the next big thing? Like, how am I going to evolve my company to the next level?
I think the change that's going to happen in the next couple of years, literally by 2025, in a major way, is going to be the addition of storage to clean generation, primarily in the form of batteries. It could be other non-chemical things, but primarily batteries. Why is that going to be impactful? Because today, if you run a business in the UAE, you can generate solar power during the daytime. Maybe you can produce 30% of your load with solar. If you have storage, you can suddenly produce all the power you need for day and night. Store the excess during the daytime, use it at nighttime, and that can enable you to go from perhaps paying $5-6 cents for solar in the daytime and 10-15 cents at nighttime. Now you can produce, hey, 5 cents day and night. That's going to be a huge transition for businesses. It's also going to be a big transition for the utilities and the governments that own those utilities as they try to manage this transition. There's also going to be a huge demand increase in electricity as we see those batteries also used in cars. And so we're going to have this balancing of people choosing to generate from themselves, but yet there's more demand coming from vehicles. And the balance of those two is something that I'm excited to see. How's that going to play out for the utilities of the region?
How far away are we from the moment where we, all of our houses are covered with solar panels, we all have wind turbines, we drive, not to mention the brand now, but like Teslas of the world, etc. How far away are we from that point? What do you think?
Look, I just bought a house. I'm putting solar on it. I drive a Tesla.
All right.
So we're not far away.
You're completely living it, yeah.
Look, I think what I'd tell you is in Q4 in Europe, 27% of the vehicles that were sold, new vehicles sold, were electric. So
fully electric?
Fully electric.
Wow.
Not plug-in, fully electric.
Wow.
So that transition's happened.
Rapidly, yeah.
Now, obviously, fuel is more expensive in Europe, so maybe that's making it happen faster than in the Middle East. But it's happening, and the question is not if, it's when. Is it going to be 23 or 25 when we see similar statistics here in Dubai, or maybe it's going to be 28? I don't know. But I think that transition is going to happen. I think it's going to be led by businesses. I think you're going to see the delivery companies, the Amazons and the Ubers and the Careems, probably leading this with fleet retrofits.
Yeah.
But that whole thing is happening, and there's no question that if you have a house, you should put solar on it.
Yeah.
That's simple.
One topic that is, you can hear about it very often. There is a lot of organizations and people who are trying to be loud and send the message, and then there's a lot more people who are not really listening or not believing it. The whole global warming and where the planet is heading, and whether we are going to be extincted by in the next 60, 70, 100 years if we don't change something. What's your take on that? How big of a threat there is out there? Like, are we really that close of disappearing from the surface of this planet?
Look, I just came back from a ski vacation, and I had the opportunity to ski on a glacier. And when I came to the end of the glacier, wasn't quite at the bottom of the hill, I had to walk out. And as I walked out, I saw milestones along the way of this is where the glacier was in 2019, in 2011, 2005, and they had these milestones along the way. There is no question that the world is changing. Anybody who said otherwise has got their head in the sand. Now, how is that change going to impact us as a human species and our quality of life? Well, I like to think back to April 2020 when we went into lockdown here in Dubai, and I know most of the world did. And you think about that 1 month and the change that we saw in the environment outside. From where I live, I can see the water, I can see the ocean here. We suddenly saw dolphins. We saw all sorts of animals swimming in the sea. So that leads me to two conclusions. One is, yes, we're having a huge change. The second is, the world is also robust and will rebound, right? The world's going to be here forever. It's just whether it's going to be a place that we want to live in. And my motivation is to try to preserve a world that I want to live in, that my kids want to live in, that their kids want to live in. And I think it's not the world's going to disappear. It's just we're not going to enjoy it as much.
That's well said. That's well said. I think it's the right dose of sanity that we need. Yellow door energy. What's next for you guys?
Look, I think we had a really fun last year. Coming out of 2020, which was difficult for many businesses, including ours, 2021 was quite good. We opened offices in Bahrain and Saudi. We grew our presence significantly in Pakistan. So what's next is more of that same growth. We're probably twice as big as the next person in our sector here, and we're accelerating very rapidly. We're moving into Egypt, South Africa, and looking at all the major industrial markets across the Middle East and Africa. So that growth geographically is exciting. Maturing markets like Dubai, Jordan, where they've been doing this for 10 years, there we're seeing product diversification. And I'm a techie, right? That's why I'm here today. It's not because I can sell solar panel to the metaverse. I'm here because I love tech. And
Can you?
We'd love to power some data centers with solar. So we're expanding our product portfolio, right? Primarily we're solar today. We've added in some car charging. We've added some energy efficiency. We're doing some waste heat recovery. We're doing hybrid energy. So those expansion of portfolios in mature markets is the other thing that I guess excites me about 2022 now.
Well, Jeremy, it's super exciting. I think you are in a right space. But at the end of the day, as we go through every episode with a different story and entrepreneur who is working on a different project, it's not necessarily about the industry. It's just about what you do and loving what you do and waking up every day feeling like, this is the day when I'm going to change the world. I think that's the necessary ingredient to make a big change. So Jeremy, thanks for coming to the Change Officer. Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It was great chatting, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. We'll catch you around, and everyone, I hope that you enjoyed another great chat that we had here, and we managed to bring some additional layer of clarity to this confusing world that we are living in today, and inspired you to act on your dreams as well. Stay tuned, there is another great session coming up very soon. Take care.